You're listening to the Wedding Biz Network, the voice of the creative entrepreneur. Hey everyone, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz, in which I conduct in-depth and revealing interviews of icons of the weddings and event industry. Before I introduce today's guests, I want to mention that obviously we are all going through quite a bit of stress at this time in history. So I put together a list of top 10 tips for dealing with stress, culled from my interviews with icons of the weddings and event business. And to get a copy, go to theweddingbiz.com/top tips. Again, theweddingbiz.com/top tips. So last week's interview on Monday was a conversation with renowned photographer Christian Oth. We talked all about how he's handling the pandemic. It was definitely a very interesting conversation. Be sure to check it out if you missed it. And now today, we've got Rob Van Helden of Rob Van Helden Floral Design Limited out of London. I was introduced to Rob by Monty Durham, who was the star of Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta, who was on the show in episode 250. Rob's previous clientele includes Nelson Mandela, Pierce Bronson, Joe Malone, Elton John, the Beckham's World Cup Party, Alfred Dunhill and James Bond film premieres, and royal weddings and events, including Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie, and Princess Margaret's 70th birthday, among others. It was really a fascinating conversation. Enjoy my interview with Rob Van Helden. Hey, Rob, so good to meet you over Zoom. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you.
Well, it's a great pleasure and honor to be on your show. So nice to meet you too.
Yeah, and I've got to thank Monty Durham because he's the one who introduced us. Great guy. He actually was on the show, episode number 250, and then I'm going to have a second interview with him being released on November 16th. So how did you meet Monty?
I've got so much admiration for Monty. He's been a kind, good man and friend for quite a few years. And I had the privilege of meeting him when he came to interview me whilst he was in London covering the wedding of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Prince William and Princess Catherine.
Wow.
And we have stayed in touch ever since.
Well, you know that eventually in this interview, I'm going to definitely ask about your work with royal events. I'm going to have to get there. But I'm curious. In researching you, I found out that you grew up in Holland. And, I've been to Holland. I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to other parts of Holland. And, the flowers just absolutely stand out as so stunning. I mean, beautiful. What was it like growing up surrounded by such beauty?
I mean, I grew up in a small village in the south of Holland. And I'm one of 6 children. And my father was in the classic car business and property. And as the youngest son and the 5th out of 6, I decided I wanted to leave this small village. And I did higher business school in Holland. And then I was given the opportunity to go to England for an intensive business course in Oxford, which I did for 6 months, and then to do a year's management course at the department store called Selfridges, and which meant that you were able to do a different department every month for a year. And whilst I was living in Holland, I spent my weekends and school holidays and every minute I had off in the local flower shop in our village, which belonged to friends of my parents and all that, and just sweeping up and doing deliveries and cutting flowers. And there was always the love of flowers because my father every Friday would bring flowers home for Mum, and as soon as we started earning pocket money, we would bring flowers home every week. And I was just surrounded by flowers and the love of flowers my whole life. And so I did higher business school, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so after my 11th month in Selfridges, I asked if I could go into the flower department there as well, on the sales floor, which I did.
Thinking that you would go into a career, or you were just curious about it?
I was still curious, and I didn't really, my year was coming up, and I didn't really want to go back to to a small village in Holland. I had tasted London live and I enjoyed it and made friends here and all that. So I was lucky enough after doing my 1 month in the flower department, they asked me to stay on and become assistant manager on the shop floor. And then a company called Moyes Stevens took it over as a franchise, and they made me the manager, which I did for about a year and a half. But that was just on the sales floor, looking after the staff and customers and all that. And then I got so bored with having to wear a shirt and tie and suit every day.
Right.
I asked if I could go into their design team. And we were on a job one day, and the head designer went, "Oh my God, we're running out of time. Please, there's 2 urns to be done. Please have a go." And I did it, and everybody stood back and went, "Wow!" I mean, and that was my first step with confidence. That I was able to.
Did it surprise you as well, or did you know that you had this?
I always used to, at home, do flower arrangements and all that. But, it's a big step, when you're working for one of London's leading florists at the time. And, to be given the task, have a go. And, they stood back and the head designer went, "Oh, my God, wow." So from sweeping the floor and taking the rubbish out and cleaning flowers, he looked after me and he trained me up. And, over time, you get more confidence. And I became to love it so much that, I did that for a year and a half with that company in the design team. And then I thought I'd like to do this on my own, and started up in the back of an old Volvo estate. And, I worked for 3 months on a flower stall. Somebody approached me and went, "We would love you, being Dutch, to come on the flower stall for a few months and then open a shop across the road from the flower stall," which never happened. But in those months, I met some amazing people who followed me. And, because I walked out one day when I had to wear a Father Christmas outfit to sell Christmas trees, and that wasn't the idea. And so people followed me. And then my sister, Patrice, my youngest sister, joined me here in London. And with the two of us, we started from the back of a Volvo estate and from a spare bedroom at home, and build up a business which is 34 years later still going strong. We built up with doing weekly shop contracts and house flowers for clients, and then we were given the opportunity to do all the shops for Alfred Dunhill on a weekly basis, and they had a big polo match every year that we were asked to do, and the golf in Scotland. Then I was asked, and I got the opportunity to work with Robert Isabel from New York.
Sure.
On the wedding of their Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Princess Pavlos of Greece. And, Robert, bless his soul, he took me under his wing and put me in charge with some other florists, but he gave me 2 of the big jobs out of this whole week of celebrations, and left and said, "Fine, here are all the candlesticks and the candelabras. I can't take them back to New York. They're all yours." So that gave us, the opportunity to start doing bigger parties. And, just by word of mouth, I was getting publicity in magazines and everything, and in the Financial Times and, other weekly magazines. You build up a name, and, all by word of mouth and hard work, it's rolled into what it is today. So it grew, and then we started getting a bigger workshop and more full-time staff. And, we then were given the opportunity to do the most incredible parties and weddings worldwide.
Well, before we get there, Rob, I'd like to ask, in terms of your aesthetic, I know that I've read that you prefer your designs to look very natural, and you talk about this term, perfect simplicity. What do you mean by that?
I personally believe flowers speak for themselves. They've got their natural beauty. I'm not one to start spraying flowers, with paint and hanging crystals in them, or, having a diamante in the middle of a rose. And no, they are a natural product, and that's how we should use them. And it's what you do with them, and they speak volumes for themselves.
Well, and you also talk about how you love to work with a mass of one type of flower. What is that about? Using a whole lot of just one type of flower?
Yeah, no, I love, to give an impact and a wow factor. If you just used all hydrangeas in one color or all stocks or all roses but we can do whatever. It suits the venue and the client. But I think because of the beauty of each individual flower, when you see them all mess, it's so much more breathtaking as well.
But what about adding other elements like, herbs and vegetables and fruits? And how do you feel about that?
I really started off, my career, and I was known for it, with working with lots of vegetables and fruits. And I think it was a bit of the Dutch in me, creating still lives, which you do with natural products, it being sprouts or beans and fresh herbs. I love fresh mint and rosemary. And, we still use every day all these kind of beautiful fresh herbs that are available, seasonal.
And you've also said that, it's not just about the flowers, it's very much about the props, and creating a whole look and setting a theme and complementing the surroundings.
That's correct. I mean, props play such a big part. And, we went through the recessions and everything when people couldn't spend the kind of money anymore on fresh flowers for a one-night function. And, that's when my sister and I saw a gap in the market, to get beautiful vessels and beautiful candelabras and beautiful tea lights, and still to create a beautiful ambience without having to go absolutely mad on chucking a lot of flowers at it. It's the props, and it goes from the tablecloth to the chair to the plates, and it all goes hand in hand to create a beautiful ambience, and that suits a certain venue and it suits a certain client and a theme, if such.
I'd love to know more about your process, and let's talk about specifically weddings. Whether or not you want to pick a particular wedding to talk through, or just simply generally, what your personal process is, how you meet with your clients, and how it is you come up with your inspiration through that process and figure out what to do for them.
So my clients, over the years has been very much by word of mouth and, through publicity. And, like, for example, this year we were very lucky to do the wedding of Royal Highness Princess Beatrice, for which we got a lot of publicity. And, over the years, this has grown that people come to me, I meet them in my showroom, and I've always said, I know when they walk out the door, I know that I have got a good chance to do this wedding, or it's not going to be me, that I'm the wrong person for it, because I get excited, and I want to make their dream come true and make it the best day of their lives. And I give it all, but it's nice to receive back as well, to see how the client reacts and interacts as well. And, when they come in here and they say, I want a whole pink wedding. Yeah, but how about pink and ivory or something? It's nice to come up with your ideas and to get me excited. And, when I'm excited, I put everything into it. It becomes my baby. And I always say as well, I like to do a party or a wedding and stand back, behind the curtain and get the reaction of the guests that walk in. And, when they go, wow, that's the biggest compliment. And I like to walk out away from a job, the last one of my staff and everything. And because would I be happy if it had been my wedding? I think it's so important. It's not like, it's half done, and, people are paying a lot of money for your services, and you should be giving them all your expertise and the quality and everything they're looking for. It's a luxury good, flowers these days.
Do you have any particular way, though, of learning more about them and finding out their aesthetic? Or is it more, I almost kind of get the impression with you, it's like a natural kind of a conversation.
It is. It's all very natural. And I always tell them we are going on a journey. It being 6 months before their wedding or a year before their wedding. And they come in and we have an initial meeting and discuss the likes and dislikes and, where the venue is going to be, what time of year it's going to be, the actual bridal party, the dislikes, and then they go away and I put a proposal together from the notes that we have taken during this meeting, the initial. Then we send them a whole proposal with images and everything of the flowers that I've suggested and the flower types, the colors. Then we ask them if it's in the season. I take them to the flower market one early morning.
Oh, you do? You take them with you?
Yeah.
Huh.
I take all my brides if they want.
Oh my gosh.
I'll take them on the trip to the flower market to show them exactly the flowers that I've had in mind, and for them to have a chance as well to walk around the market and say, Rob, how about that? Or which I hadn't thought about, but they might see something else. We put them all together, we photograph it. Then we invite them, after they have had their meetings with the caterers and everything, to come back again to our studio. We set sometimes 6 different tables up with cloths. We get the crockery, the glasses, the chairs, everything in with whatever amount of designs they have chosen out of my proposal that suit their budget. And they can see what it's going to look like on the day. And then they can come in and say, no, I'm not that keen, or can we change the candlesticks, or can we change the night lights? And, it is a whole hand-holding journey. It's not just like, oh, yeah, you're fine, here's number 7 out of my book, and, go away and come back. No, and then, sometimes you have to do 2 meetings. If you haven't got it right, we are very willing to get it right. Thank God that doesn't happen much, because it's a huge expense to set up all these tables as well, and till the end, and then we discuss the bridal flowers like the wedding bouquet, the bridesmaids bouquets, boutonnieres, and then we turn up on the day and make it even more beautiful than what they have seen in their samples.
I want to be sure you know about another great show on the Wedding Biz Network, The Business of Being Creative, with host Sean Lowe. You've often heard Sean on my Next Level episodes. Well, now he's taking the creative business advice he's shared with accomplished notables such as Preston Bailey, Vincente Wolf, Nate Berkus, Style Me Pretty, and Sylvia Weinstock, and more, and offering it to you on his new show. There are already a few episodes for you to catch up on where he discusses the power of being niched, pricing strategies, metrics of success, and so much more. So in short, you're going to gain a ton of value and action items from Sean's show, and you'll have the opportunity to talk back by recording messages of feedback from right there in the show notes. So if you are a creative who is turning your craft into a business or want to take it further, head to theweddingbiznetwork.com and take a listen to The Business of Being Creative by Sean Lowe. Again, that's theweddingbiznetwork.com. What are some of the challenges that you've run into, that are unexpected? Maybe what's one of the biggest ones you've ever had?
The biggest one, I have worked on many with other florists and designers on weddings in India, about 35 of them. And even, doing weddings I've done weddings in the Maldives, in Morocco, the south of France, the heat, like building a chuppah outside in the garden in unbearable heat, but the show has to go on. And so you have to leave everything last minute and, pray for the best. And, but yeah, there are challenges. And, when we have done flowers in the Maldives, for example, how they are going to arrive when they're flown in, from Holland, and they have to go on sea cargo to the island. And, it's nerve-wracking. It certainly is a challenge, yeah. But hey, we've managed.
You mentioned earlier your own wedding. Can you describe what you did for your own wedding?
My husband and I, we had a civil partnership ceremony at Claridge's here in London. And that was on 2007. 7 is our lucky number. So I always said, if we get married, I want to get married on the 7th of July, 2007. So that was in the diary for many months. And then I had the privilege and the honor to be asked by Mr. Valentino to do a huge party for him in Rome, which was on, I think, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of July as well. I went, I'm very honored and I will come, but I have to get home on the Thursday. The 7th was on the Saturday. I have to get home on the Thursday night, 2 nights before my own wedding. Yeah. And I left the team out there, and I was in Rome that whole week beforehand. And my head designer at the time called me. He went, have you decided what you're going to have for your wedding, which was on the Saturday? I went, don't worry. I said, I had 23 groomsmaids, little ones, grown-ups, you name it.
Oh, my gosh. All
I
right.
said, the most important thing is I've ordered all the lily of the valley, which is my favorite flower. And all my groomsmates, they all carried posies of lily of the valley. I had ordered every bit of lily of the valley that was available in Holland for the luncheon and for the posies. And I said, the rest, I just want white flowers, white stocks, because I love in the summer the fragrance of white stock. I had white orchids, I had white hydrangeas. So it was very
Oh, sounds
straightforward.
wonderful.
So yeah, we had our wedding ceremony at Claridge's, and then followed by a luncheon, and then we kicked everybody out, and then had a party for 450 people in the evening. Changed the whole of Claridge's into one big nightclub. So, and then my husband Sepp and I. So this was 13 years ago, and then we worked on. We were very lucky. We had twin boys 3.5 years ago by surrogacy in LA. And so when it came up they were born in January 2017. So in July 2017, for our 10th anniversary, we got properly married, which became law by then, and had the boys' christening.
Yeah.
And, we had the blessing and everything in the church. And then we went all for blues and whites. And yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. What about royal events? Like you mentioned Princess Beatrice, and I know you did Princess Eugenie's wedding. And
I mean, I've been very lucky to have a good connection with the royalty, the English royalty as well. Over many years, it started off, I did the 70th birthday celebrations for the late Princess Margaret. Then I sadly did her funeral. We did the Crown Prince and Princess of Greece's wedding. Then we did Her Majesty's grandson Peter Phillips to Autumn's wedding years ago. Then 2 years ago we did Princess Eugenie's wedding, and then this summer just gone Princess Beatrice's wedding.
But I'm trying to imagine the pressure. Do you feel pressure with these royal weddings? I mean, what is that like?
When the whole world media is on you, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember Princess Eugenie's weddings. She got married to the St. George's Chapel in Windsor. And, it was
stunning.
A grand, big wedding, autumnal. And Sepp and I, we were guests in the wedding. And the morning of the wedding, we've been working all night to decorate all the steps outside with the big trees and all the autumnal flowers. And the morning of the wedding, it was so windy, and I sat in the church shaking the whole ceremony. The doors opened for Princess Beatrice to come in, and I saw the trees going, oh. And I went, oh my God. I mean, we had sandbags, we had rope, everything, but it was so windy. And the whole ceremony, I was sitting there shaking, and the doors opened for them to go, and I thought, oh, one of the trees, but I hadn't. Everything stayed intact, but that was the most nerve-wracking wedding ever. And then, lucky enough, with Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice, it was all much smaller and kept secret. And we had to keep that secret for 2 weeks. And it was just the greatest pleasure and honor for both those princes to have been part of their special day. And they were both so special in their own way, both weddings. The prestige of doing Princess Eugenie, where the whole world press was focused on the decorations, and then again we had the biggest publicity and the most incredible reactions after Princess Beatrice's wedding. That floral arch, that it was. It's been. We had to pinch ourselves. It was mind blowing the reactions we were getting for that.
Well, you've also done a lot of celebrity parties, film premieres. I know that Elton John declared your work to be, quote, magnificent, incredible, beautiful, genius. What is it that you did for Elton John?
For Sir Elton, I did both his civil and his wedding. I've done all the white tie and tiara parties for over 20 years when they were happening. Elton has been the most incredible support to me and my husband and my young family, and David as well. I'm forever grateful for what that man has done for me, and the honor to have worked for him for so many years. What a kind man he is.
And also, I know that, I'm assuming not all your clients are individuals. How do you go about creating the right display for a hotel, for venues? I mean, I know you do that too, don't you?
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to, in Cape Town, I set up a flower department in one of the hotels on the waterfront. And, you go out there, you see the interior, you work together with the interior designers, you see what type of vases will work, longevity of flowers, what type of flowers as well. These hotels, of course, they've all got budgets like everybody has got, and they want things to last and, to look prestige, for all their clients. And, they all very much depend, on the environment and what type of hotel chain or it is. Yeah, is it modern? Is it more traditional? Is classic? I get a kick out of it. I love doing that.
And we're also, look, right now at the time of this interview, we're in mid-late October, and we're in the middle of this pandemic. It's been going on for 7 months. How has it affected you? I mean, I would say both, not just business-wise, but even personally, Rob. Like, how are you handling this?
Well, we normally a full-time team of 12, 13 people. And in the last 7 months, after 10 days lockdown, my sister and I decided, the phone kept ringing. Oh, are you still delivering? Are you still doing this? And we went back to work. And personally, for my sister and I, we've never worked so hard. I mean, it's, she's been like doing the arrangements with me. We go to the market every morning. I'm out doing deliveries, getting stuck in London, lovely traffic. Not, it's been tough, and plus, we had so many events postponed and cancelled. Yeah. We're talking a lot of money, but I didn't want my name to disappear. And, we were brought up, you work hard for what you've got. And, I've got a family with 2 little ones now as well. And, it gets me up every day. And yeah, it is tough. Sadly, we've had to make some redundancies. The rest of the staff still furloughed, for another 2 weeks, and things don't seem to get any better. I don't think there's going to be any big, we have been blessed to have very tiny weddings for 30 people, now 15 people. We've done a few. People want their house cheering up because they can't go anywhere. So we've been doing house flowers.
Great point.
People are sending each other still flowers, so we are busy, and thank God there's some Christmas inquiries coming in as well now. People are all stuck at home. So they are going to want their Christmas tree. And at the moment, we're going into Halloween and Thanksgiving. So people want dories for Halloween and Thanksgiving. But you just don't know are we going to go in a lockdown tier 3 again, and you just don't know. And I mean, it's not just here; it's worldwide, and it's hard work. And my sister and I decided as well in 2 weeks' time we're opening an RVH home store. That people can come online and come and visit the shop. Where we sell vases and candelabras and you name it. It's just trying to keep our name out there and trying to keep going. And when it's your baby, and you've worked 34 years, 7 days a week for it. You don't want that to slip away. And, that's what keeps us going.
Do you feel that you've learned anything, just about yourself through this experience and how you're dealing with it?
Oh, yeah. I've become even more close with my sister. She's my rock. She's my everything. Bless her. She's so hardworking. And, we have spent so much special time together. And the clients, when they see me pulling up in a van and delivering flowers, they go, oh, my God, it's Rob himself delivering flowers. And, it's like reconnecting with clients again as well on a personal level, which has been appreciated. And, you can't take anything for granted, and you appreciate everything much more. Now we have hit these times, and you just hope and pray that we get out of all of this. But lucky enough. I mean, bless all these brides and grooms and families. They have had to. We had so many weddings lined up in May, June, and July. They postponed them all to the first weekend in September. That didn't happen. Now they've already postponed, to next year. And please, we pray, that something will come through and that these things can go ahead, and quite a few of the weddings we were meant to do, they have gone ahead with people saying, oh, we'll just do a wedding with immediate family or whatever for 15 people, and then we have a party next year. But, it's not just about the weddings, it's about Christmas parties, it's about bar and bat mitzvahs, all that kind of things as well. And is a very worrying time. And, I go to the flower market every morning of the week, at least 5, if not 6 days a week. And, you want to support all these suppliers that have been there for me as well over the years, but they're having a tough time as well.
Sure. Well, earlier you were mentioning reconnecting with people and connecting deeper. For myself, I have a music and entertainment business, and, I'm in the same position with all of these events being postponed and postponed and postponed again. And more of our new jobs are being booked now for 2022.
Yeah.
However, it's interesting when I get back in touch with planners and designers and people I'm in touch with in the industry. I would never, of course, wish this upon us, though it is allowing us to have a deeper connection because we're all feeling vulnerable and we're all wanting to support each other.
We're all in the same boat, exactly. I think even the flower community has grown closer. It's like people say to me, "Oh, who's your competition?" And I go, "I haven't got any competition," because they go to one florist for his style or her style, or they come to me for my style. It's a bit like you either shop at Valentino or you shop at Christian Dior or whatever. It's I'm never like my own competition. No, it's and I think I feel like amongst us florists, when we meet in the market, you've grown closer, and you hate to see other florists having to make people redundant as well and not having any work. And it has been a case of like you either grab this by the horn and do something about it, and
right,
still be out there that people know you're still doing flower deliveries and you're still here to serve them instead of letting it all slip away.
Well, look, I know that, this will pass. Our industry, I'm sure we're all growing individually for this. And, I'm sure that looking back sometime, we're going to see what we learned from this as bad as it was. I imagine there's going to be something that we're going to get out of this in some way.
Yeah, we have to. This can't just, look, in the whole events industry, I don't know how you are in America, how they look after you there, but, to be very honest, we haven't been very well looked after here. And, but everybody's in the same boat. And I fully understand there's only so much the governments can do as well, but it's
right.
Have financial help and all that. And, we just need to keep strong, healthy, and, get to the other end of this.
Well, before my last question for you, generally speaking, how do you view, what does success mean for you?
Success for me means a happy client. And I sometimes go through boxes with thank you letters. Fine, yes, it's nice to receive a nice check, from after you do a function and all that. But it's the letters that people write, that you have made their dream come true, and they can never thank you enough. And having been in the business, in my own business for 34 years now, I've done weddings, and now I've done their children's wedding, or for example, or bar mitzvahs. It is mind blowing, and repeat clientele, people that have been loyal and stuck with you, and appreciate what you do, and not take it all for granted. That's the biggest compliment, and loyalty and the gratitude from clients.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rob, for coming on, and also for letting yourself, just really be open and honest about all of this. I appreciate this. I know we're all going to get through this, and it's just wonderful to connect with you.
And so thank you so much for the honor and the pleasure to be on your show. And it's been great meeting you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, really fun. Thank you for listening to my conversation with Rob Van Helden. Rob's business website is RVH Floral Design. Again, RVHFloralDesign.com. His Instagram is Rob070707. This can all be found in the show notes at our website of theweddingbiz.com. And if you've enjoyed it, please share it with your friends and colleagues so that they can not only find out about Rob's interview, but also about the show. That would be wonderful. And don't forget to listen to our follow-on segment that comes out every week on Wednesday called The Next Level, in which I have a guest co-host, and together we tease out some of the highlights of the interview to discuss them in a way that you can use to help bring your own business to the next level. And this week's guest co-host is going to be Alejandra Pupel from Alejandra Pupel Events. She lives in Paris, and caters to an international clientele, doing a wide variety of events. I know that's going to be a great one. And then next week, my interview is going to be a conversation with Monty Durham, his second time on the show. Monty is wonderful, always wonderful to talk to. And be sure to follow us at The Wedding Biz and to check out our website, which is theweddingbiz.com. And we'll catch you next week.